Hi, my name is Mary Lang, and I'm the instructor for W540 Computer-Based Teaching Methods. This is a spring class. This is our syllabus, and I have the mission statement at the top. I also have my contact information. You can contact me via cell phone at 812-267-5655. I've also listed 2 email addresses by which you can contact me by. Edmodo, we will discuss in a moment, but that is another great way that you can contact me. I will be on there every day. I listed the supplies that you need for class, as well as our course objectives and strategies. We'll begin by looking a little bit at our schedule. I have a Weebly page, as I said. It has an Animoto presentation on it, and I will show you that. If you would like to get to know me, you can go to the About Miss Lang page. On this page I have an Animoto that you can look at to get to know me a little bit, since we won't meet face-to-face in this class. I've also got a little bit of the background that I have in case you want to look at any of that. This page will provide you with a sample of a technology plan, a unit, and a PD plan, which you will be responsible for in this class. These are all projects that I created a few years ago, so they are just there as a sample for you to look at. Your standards are a little different than they were a few years ago, so I have created a template, and I will show you that in a moment. So these just have some ideas that you can look at. They are not going to look exactly like yours because, as I said, the standards have changed a little. When you create your Weebly page, you will have a tab for School Technology Plan. You will have a tab for Technology Unit. Again, I have listed mine just as a reference for you, but again, the standards have changed in the last few years, so yours will look a little different. This is just there as a sample for you to look at. You will also have a plan and a tab for PD plan. You will have one more tab. Yours, however, will be called individual presentation, not reflections, because you will create an individual presentation in this class. So this is just a sample Weebly page. Again, it is listed on the syllabus. And it's listed right here on the syllabus. A lot of what we do in class will be communicated via Edmodo. So I will show you what our class Edmodo looks like. And if you go to edmodo.com, you have a group code that is I6BQTX. It's right here. So when you log on, that will be our group code. I will post all of the assignments on Edmodo for you. Every week you will have a post to respond to. Here's our first post right here. You will just hit reply and copy and paste that and reply your answers. The next week you have a post already ready for you. You'll list examples of adaptive and assistive hardware, so you'll read this post and reply back to everyone in our group so they can read it. On March 7th, you have a technology plan due. It is listed in the syllabus, and again, I have created a template for you to help you out with this project. Here's another post and another weekly post here. This is one, March 19th, you will definitely need to mark your calendars for, because you will need to contact someone in class via Edmodo. If you already work with them, then that's great, but you will need to contact someone on your own and do a mid-unit evaluation. Again, it is explained right here. In the past, students have used Skype in order to discuss this. You can use whatever you would like, whatever is easiest for you. You have a technology unit that is due on March 26th. Again, I have created a template for you, and I will show you that in a moment. That will help you get started on this unit. And here are a couple other weekly posts. One project that you will also do is a PD plan. You'll need to start thinking about what you would like to do. This is an in-depth plan, and I again have created a template. I've posted it right here. That will make it easier for you to get started on this. Towards the end of our class, you'll create an individual presentation through Screencast-O-Matic or Screener or whatever video recording site you would like to go to. As part of your grade in this class, you will view 3 others' individual presentations, and you will post 9 ideas of things that you learned via technology. It'll be one way that we can communicate with one another and how you can learn ideas from other students, which I think is a great idea. And then, to end our class, you will self-reflect on your ability to meet standards and dispositions. I have 2 rubrics right here. If I were you, to be honest with you, I would start filling these rubrics out as you're doing your projects, because especially this last one, it is very lengthy. You will need to highlight it in red and then add comments for each standard and disposition that we have met in this class, which are quite a few. So if I were you, this is one thing that as you're doing your projects, I would most definitely get a head start on. Okay, so that is our Edmodo. I have posted the due dates for each of the assignments to help you out. I have posted everything on here, so if you don't want to look at anything and get overwhelmed, or everything get overwhelmed, then you can always just filter it by what's coming up due soon. Some people would rather see everything, and some people aren't that way. So it's up to you, whichever method you would prefer, but we do have quite a few assignments, so don't get overwhelmed, but manage your time. So we've looked at the Weebly site. I have shown you the technology plan, the technology unit, and the PD, as well as your individual presentation. These are all things and tabs that you need for your Weebly site. We have discussed how to join our Edmodo group, and we have discussed the Edmodo postings. So let's talk more in depth about each of the assignments. This is one of the rubrics that I addressed earlier that you will highlight in red when you finish. So all you would do is come up here and highlight in red, and that will take care of it for you. There is one rubric at the end that you will need to add comments to, but again, it's on the Edmodo, and it's the very last page. These are more about the Edmodo entries, but again, they are already posted on Edmodo, so you do not need to spend a lot of time looking at those. They're already on Edmodo for you. These are the templates that I was referring to, which are going to help you so much, I feel, get ready for this technology plan and the PD plan. So here's what I did. I have listed in black what I want you to specifically talk about. So you will literally copy and paste this to a Word document simply by highlighting it and clicking and hit copy, and you will make your own Word document. Anything in black I do want you to include. You don't have to change any of the wording. The things that I have in blue are just tips for you. So you can erase these, but they are only there as a tip or to help you out. Anything that is highlighted is something in addition that you need to include. So for this one, you do need to include a screenshot of an actual policy. Again, this is in black, so you do need to include it. If I were you, I would just bullet point it. If you would like to write it out in paragraph form, that's totally fine as well. But I would do a bullet point, and then underneath that, do a paragraph. It will make it easier for me to grade and easier for you to write and for me to give feedback for you. Again, in blue, these are just some key questions, key ideas for you to address. Again, in blue, just some thoughts, just some ideas. So I've listed that for every single one. Again, anything in black I do want as your main template, but then you can add as many paragraphs under each thing in black that you want. The blue, again, is just tips to help you get started. And again, the highlighting, this is where you will need to attach an actual policy. Okay, so basically, technology plan, you'll need to address your school technology policies, talk about your classroom, student populations, SOE, the pros and cons that you have at school, adaptive hardware and assistive hardware that you have, technology resources. This is one that you will talk to one of your computer specialists about, and then at the end you'll address the needs that you feel like your school has. So that's your technology plan. That will help you get started on the next thing, which is actually your technology unit. So this plan is actually due first, and then I'm going to skip over that because it'll come last. Then you'll move on to your technology unit. So again, you'll need to read what it says word for word, but I've created a template for you, and you'll submit it via Edmodo and as a PDF. Again, what's in blue are just things to help you. What's in black, you do need to make sure that you specifically say in your template. So here, you can copy and paste this again. You'll need to list the standards. So you'll literally say, I use the following state standards and list those. You will say, I use the following NETS T standards and list those. Then you'll need to write pre-assessment, and you will need to discuss what types of pre-assessments that you use for your unit. Again, here you will need to attach a screenshot. Then you'll do another in bold teaching strategies, and then you'll list the technology tools that you'll use, and then you will even include what following new and innovative technology ideas that you used, so something above and beyond what you normally do. Here it says I incorporated the following through distant learning systems. So again, you'll need to think outside the box and what kind of distant learning systems you can use. In the past, they have used a lot of Skype to get this across. Here it talks about the unit. So you will need to discuss in depth your unit. It needs to be at least 3 to 4 days of instruction and include lots of technology. That's why it's a technology unit. So be sure to use lots of technology. You will need to provide a way for students to do research. Again, you can hit that with technology. Be sure to include how you're helping diverse learners from different backgrounds, characteristics, and abilities. Again, you'll list your adaptive and assistive hardware, and you'll include resources that will affirm diversity and cultural needs. Even if you don't have many at your school, you still need to think of ways that you could include them if you did have those. Towards the end, you will talk about a post-assessment. Again, you'll need to attach a screenshot of your actual assessment and the data. You will also need to include student work samples. Super important. Be sure to attach PDFs of their samples or pictures of their samples. You'll also need to include that in your Weebly page. The very last thing, you do need to do a video of at least one lesson. I will need a minimum of 10 minutes about your lesson. Dr. Pinkston will need a DVD of that video, so be sure to get that to him at the School of Education. You also need to include that video in your Weebly page. So once you send your PDF to me and I give you feedback, that's when you're ready to put your technology plan and your technology unit on your Weebly page. Be careful when you do all of this that you do not violate privacy laws or policies. Alright, so that is your unit. Moving back up to the PD plan. This is the last thing that I have assigned you to do. You will definitely need to get a start on this because it is quite comprehensive. Again, I have a template for you to make it easier, hopefully, for you, for me to give feedback and for you to submit. So again, read over this. It is worth 80 points. You will do professional communication, and this is mostly locally. How do you do it locally with your peers, PDs, staff development, department meetings, etc.? Include all of this information and how you're going to professionally communicate technology to your staff. This is more about abroad. So how can you talk with other people abroad about technology? A lot of people have used Facebook and Pinterest and other social media. Again, these are all things that you'll have to discuss with them using social media or whatever avenue that you have. Again, you will need to attach a screenshot of your Facebook or Pinterest post to prove that you have completed that component. The third component of this PD plan is how you are communicating with parents about technology. Again, you'll need to, if you do that via newsletter or via Remind 101 or other accesses, you will need to provide some type of screenshot or some way for me to see that you have done that. Then, fourth part of this is a PD in service, which you are detailing how you're using technology. That could be from your unit. That could be a technology strategy that you know is new and innovative that you want to share. It can be at a staff meeting. It can be at a department meeting. It can be at a committee meeting. You don't have to have 10, 20 people there. Whatever you're comfortable with. A department meeting may only have 5 people, and that's completely okay. You will need to detail your plan, explain what your strategy is. You will need to discuss social, ethical, and legal issues, as that's a standard that we have to cover. You will also need to talk about copyright laws, because that is a standard in this class. Finally, you'll also need to discuss adult learning theory. You can go Google this. There's lots of information about adult learning theory. You will need to discuss that in your PD. Any handouts that you use do need to be attached in this. And the final concept of this PD plan is a professional development that goes beyond the school level. Again, here's what it includes: 2 artifacts that talk about technology beyond the school level. You could write a grant that goes above and beyond. You could write a letter to the congressional representative, or you could write a letter to the school board. In the past, I've had a lot of grants written. I've had a lot of letters to